Hi guys. All right. It's still working. I hope I'm not like robotic or anything because the music was a little robotic. Oh, I hope this isn't too long of a stream. And if it starts going wonky on you, just let me know and I don't know, I'll either start again or just do a pre-recording. You do, Andrew? Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look at that. Huh. Not surprising because Chicago's an old world city. Anyways, so bear with me. I have like a million thoughts before I go live, and then I like lose them throughout the day. And then I didn't take my multivitamins. I think I'm feeling extra tired. So I have tea. Look at my nutcracker. It's a lot of tea, but all right, I got my big tea. Funny story, and sorry I'm in the dark. I don't want to turn on a light. Funny story. I took a whole gummy yesterday. I was literally high for a lot of the day. My bad. It was fun. I didn't have to go anywhere yesterday, so it was funny. My daughter and I laughed a lot. Okay. So if you're sensitive to those things, do not take a whole. I was told to only take a half, and I took a whole because I couldn't feel what the half could do right away. It just kind of was slow moving, and I thought it should have moved faster. And once I took that whole gummy, wow, it moved faster. And then time like completely slowed down. I felt, yeah, gummies are strong. I found that out the hard way, but it was fun. I knew right away, right when I started like hearing things, that I needed to not drive. I was going to drive somewhere, and then I decided I wasn't. So it kind of turned out to just be a super chill, funny day, but it was a funny experience. A lot of, and it's like you're in another dimension. I felt like everything I was saying was looping back, like deja vu constantly. So anything my daughter said, I kept asking her, did you just say that? And I asked her like 3 times because I kept looping in my brain. It was really weird. But it was fun, like I said. Yeah, I'll have to check out those star forts in Aurora. I think even Chicago probably had a star fort because I think, what am I thinking of? Maybe Pierre looks like it has some kind of jutting out. But in Chicago, all the museums are on like a campus. And so that area looks to me, they connected all of them with roads and stuff. So it looks like, to me, something was there. So anyways, yeah, like I said, sorry I'm in the dark. I'm going to go back to Isaiah 34 because there were some things I wanted to touch on that I kind of maybe rushed through the last time. So let me get to that. And I have my names of Yah Bible here, and then I have the Amplified on Bible Gateway So that's what you see. Okay, I'm going to go through this, but then I'm just going to touch on what I wanted to touch on verse 3 and 4. And then through 13. Okay, so it says, "Come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you peoples. Let the earth hear and all that is in it, the world and all things come forth from it." So it's again talking about the nations of the world. It's not just one nation like we'll be looking at in the chapters tonight. His wrath is against all their hosts. He has utterly doomed them. He has given them over to slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and the stench of their dead bodies shall rise, and the mountains shall flow with their blood. Just kind of made me think about mountain ranges and what's really up there and how some mountains look. And even though he's talking about, he's addressing the whole earth. This is not a time of whole earth destruction. So this is not something we have to look forward to in our future. This is something that may have already happened. So that's my point. All the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved and crumble away, and the skies shall be rolled together like a scroll, and all their hosts, the stars, I'm not going to say that, shall drop like a faded leaf from the vine and like a withered fig from the fig tree. Now it says all this, and I hear a lot of people reference Revelation and this, the skies will be rolled together like a scroll, all their hosts shall fall down. But according to the context of this chapter, it's not the end of the realm as we know it. Excuse me, because it says in the next few verses, "My sword has been bathed and equipped in heaven. Behold, it shall come down, the descendants of Esau, upon the people whom I have doomed for judgment. The sword of, I'll say Yah, is filled with blood of sacrifices. It is gorged and greased with fatness." This one kind of confused me. It's gross. "With the blood of the lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams." So I'm assuming that's all, like it said, of sacrifices. "Yah has a sacrifice in Basra, capital of Edom, and a great slaughter in the land of Edom." So now he's switched to Edom. And this doesn't mean the whole world is destroyed, because he's still talking about these certain nations now. "The wild oxen shall fall with them, and the young bullocks with the old and mighty bulls, and their land shall be drunk and soaked with blood, and their dust made rich with fatness. For Yah has a day of vengeance, a year of recompense for the cause of Zion." So again, here the world is not destroyed. "The streams of Edom will be turned into pitch, and its dust into brimstone." So we know many places like this on earth still, "and its land will become burning pitch. The burning of Edom shall not," sorry, there's a gnat flying around, "shall not be quenched night or day. Its smoke shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever." So this cannot be correlated, this rolling up of the heavenly host or the skies. Where did it go? I went too far. Sorry, guys. This cannot be equated. Sorry. This part cannot be equated with the end of the realm as we know it, because it's talking about what it will look like after this judgment. Okay, so like we read earlier, "The pelican, the porcupine will possess it, the owl and the bittern and the raven will dwell in it. He will stretch over it Edom, the measuring line of confusion, and the plummet stones of chaos over its nobles." So there's still people here. "They shall call its nobles to proclaim the kingdom, but nothing shall be there, and all its princes will be no more." So now we're back to specifically Edom. "Thorns shall come up in its palaces, and strongholds, nettles and brambles in its fortresses." We see that a lot. "And it shall be a habitation for jackals, an abode for ostriches." Okay, and there's that night monster, which is the Lilith. And I think that's where my other video had cut out. So I was talking about, oh, thanks, Sasquatch. Yeah, coffee and Bible study. I have tea. I almost drank coffee, but I thought the way I'm feeling, I should drink tea. So, anyways, like I said, the Lilith is there, and we can see all these places wherever this is. Pick your place of choice, the Americas or the Middle East or whatever. We see evidence of no one living in places ever, places that are decimated. So there's a point in the past where the stars did fall and the skies were rolled up. Both theories I know about, where they say we can see our Milky Way galaxy, that rift in the sky. That could have to do with something. So this is not talking. That was my main point. It's not talking about. A lot of people equate that rolling of the skies away like a scroll, and the stars falling as the end, like the very end. But that, in particular, that judgment was not the very end. Okay, so I just wanted to go back on 35 because reading that again, because I was double checking with the Lilith, but I also wanted to check back on some stuff. So I was intrigued to learn about that kind of stuff, the mountains being flowing with blood, and anyways, that kind of stuff. So now we're in chapter 35. So we're about halfway through Isaiah. Yeah, and I knew it would take a while, so I guess we're going faster than I thought. So I guess that's good in a way. I might pause because I don't read it initially in the Amplified. I read it in my Bible here, the names of God or names of Yah. So sometimes things are different. But I did want to point out something from last time. So I have a couple of things to share. Let me make sure my screen is sharing correctly. Hey, Tim. Oh, yeah, lava, maybe. But I've heard that lava isn't lava. Okay. So let me get my screen going here. Okay. Let's go back to, well, that's not the right thing. Ooh, I hate those. Ooh, Cyclops. I hate those weird looking things. Maybe this is the right one. Nope. Computer, do this to me. I'm telling you. I had the picture that I wanted for you guys. Of course, it slipped back. And of course, it's not loading. There it is. Okay. I wanted this because I kind of got, trying to widen it for you. I got a confirmation about my theory last week. The summit thing. Isn't that cool? It's not like I think of anything on my own. Okay. So what I mentioned before was that Isaiah could particularly be talking about, sorry for any appropriate. Dumb. Okay. I was talking Isaiah referring to some of his judgments and these prophecies, and even the way his realm looked at his time, looking more like this and ending being Hypeborea. Meru was Jerusalem. That's a page I follow on Facebook. He was mentioning Jerusalem and Meru because this is actually the highest world, not Mount Everest. But they say Mount Everest is the highest because obviously they don't want us to know what's really up here. But in his prophecies and the way the nations had come together and gone back and forth, it would seem more probable. California used to be up here, so North America, Greenland, so America would be down here, Russia, Asia. So it's like we were all connected here in Hypeborea, and then it all spread out. But yeah, going back to this in mind, I got confirmation that probably this is how the nations acquired things from each other. This is how they communicated. This is how they traveled to one another. And you'll see in Isaiah, again, there's another what's it called? Confirmation just in the passages we're going to read tonight. So keep that in mind. And I got confirmation that my theory or my thoughts were on the right track. Again, with the Americas, North and South America being the true biblical lands makes more sense this way. And then the theory just keeps going on, and I was kind of proven right in thinking the right way. So you'll see when we get to it. Not this chapter, 36 is basically verbatim 2 Kings 18 through 19. So if you want to read that on your own, you can, but we'll get to that. Okay, so this in my Bible is labeled, sorry for the scrolling, the Yah's people will have joy. The wilderness and the dry land shall be glad. The desert shall rejoice and blossom like the rose and the autumn crocus. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given to it, the excellency of Mount Carmel and the plain of Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Most High, the majesty and splendor and excellency of our El. Strengthen the weak hands and make firm the feeble and tottering knees. Say to those who are of a fearful and hasty heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your El will come with recompense of himself. He will come and save you. Sorry, I don't like some of the English ways they put this. The eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then the lame man shall leap like a hart, and the tongue of the dumb shall sing for joy. For waters shall break forth in the wilderness and streams in the desert. I've always loved this passage, that part. The burning sand in Merom, a pool, and that the ground springs of water in the haunt of jackals where they lay resting shall be grass with reeds and rushes. A highway shall be there, and a way, and a holy way. Unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for the redeemed. The wayfaring men, yes, the simple ones and fools, shall not err in it and lose their way. No lion shall be there, nor shall any ravenous beast come up on it. They shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk on it. And the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with singing, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads, shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. So that's what I'm referring to as this area, and that's what someone else was mentioning on the page I follow, Mount Zion, supposedly. So even this wouldn't be here in the past, this Gulf of Water, whatever this is, or I don't know what that is. So this would even be attached to this. I don't know what that says either. If you know this map better than I do, please. What's going on? Check the chat. All nations were ruled under one religion then too. Like the other day and through all the resets. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Tim. Yeah, I get it, Skull. Okay. All right, so here's where 2 Kings 18, it's verbatim, like it's the same wording and everything. So this is Isaiah telling back King Hezekiah's interactions with the king of Assyria and what they're going to do. Oh, and you know what? Sorry, I shut my computer down, and then on my tabs that I had, I was messing with my computer, and she logged in too many times. That's actually why I had to restart it. I wouldn't give her the real password. She kept typing in passwords. All right, so I'm going to be looking at Sennacherib, which is interesting. The narrative for Sennacherib does not with what the Bible says. And I'll tell you that in a second. Supposedly he looked something like this. Wikipedia went back and forth about him. He was a strong king, yet he struggled to keep his rule. A lot like the other biblical I don't know if you want to call these impressions. So let's read a little bit about Sennacherib so we know what we're going to be looking at. Not that Wikipedia is anything to take completely seriously, but let's just read what we could know. So this is the part I was talking about. The role he plays in the Hebrew Bible. Sorry. Okay. His father was Sargon II. I'm not even going to pay attention to these dates because they're completely probably. He destroyed Babylon, renovation expansion of the last great Assyrian capital of Nineveh. Okay, so he was a powerful, wide-ranging Assyrian king. He faced controlling Babylonia, which formed the southern portion of his empire. Many of Sennacherib's Babylonian troubles stemmed from Chaldean tribal chief. I don't know who that is. Interesting that these people aren't mentioned in the Bible at all. This isn't mentioned in the Bible either. The Levantine War. I guess Israel wasn't a part of that war. Okay. Oh, wait. It's part of the Levantine War. So this we have to say, well, we can take it or leave it. This is not in the Bible, but this is what is referred to when Hezekiah was under attack. Okay. I misspoke. Sorry, I didn't read ahead enough. Okay. No, I'm not going to support you. Okay, so they invaded Judah. The biblical narrative holds, which you'll see in a second, the divine intervention of an angel that ended Sennacherib's attack on Jerusalem by destroying the Assyrian army. An outright Assyrian defeat is unlikely, as Hezekiah submitted to Sennacherib at the end of the campaign. Contemporary records, even those written by Assyrian enemies, do not mention the Assyrians being defeated at Jerusalem. So they're saying that the angel taking the Assyrian army out is the myth. That actually didn't happen. Now I want to show you a picture. He rebuilt something like this. Can you? Oh, why did it do that to me? Hold on. Oh, I got to get it back. Let me get it back. My picture. Okay, so this is the palace of Sennacherib restored to what it would look like. Give him a break. Look at that. Oh, it won't even let me show it. Why did it do that? Okay, did you guys see that? That was a crazy, crazy building. Hey, Uncle Jesus. Let me see if I can find that again. Oh, take away my... Anyways, that was a crazy building. Let me see if I can get it up one more time. I don't know why it didn't save it for me. It's right there. Look at that. It might blow away, but look at that. That's crazy. That guy's as tall as that statue. Might be a giant. They look smaller. He looks taller. I know that's amazing. So yeah, that's crazy. I had another picture, and this is one. Oh, it's not gonna do it. 1 second. This is supposedly the angel slaying Assyria. We'll read about it. But as I mentioned, I had an angel video a couple months ago that I don't think angels looked like this. To me, when I see this angel, it reminds me of a fallen angel, not an actual heavenly host. But anyways, that's what's depicted. I just thought that was interesting. All right, let's go back to Isaiah. You don't see it? Oh, the building. Let me try again. It here. Oh, it blows away on me. But pause it. When you rewind, just pause it. because I don't know why it's disappearing on me. Okay. 13th year of King Hezekiah, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the fortified cities of Judah and took them. So that picture I showed you was a fortified city. They had them too in Judah. They had them all over. Possibly the star forts, right? I don't know. They had them all over. The king of Assyria, the Rabshakeh, the military official from Lachish, the fortress commanding the road from Egypt, to King Hezekiah at Jerusalem with a great army, and he stood now of the upper pool on the highway to the fuller's field. So I wanted to look that up too. And this internationalstandardbible.com is really good for this kind of stuff. It seems kind of accurate, except we're not sure. But the Fuller's Field, interesting, Fuller's Field, the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the Fuller's Field. This must have been a well-known landmark at Jerusalem in the time of the monarchy. He stood there in his interview with Eliakim and others on the wall. Clearly, the highway was within easy earshot of the walls. Here Isaiah met Ahaz and Shashub, his son of the commander of Yahweh. So near the present Jaffa Gate, which is in Jerusalem today, supposedly. But I doubt it's the same place, like I've already told you. The former was considered the upper pool of Gihon. These pools and aqueducts are certainly of later date. Probably not later date. I would say they're the correct dates. The north side of the city, where there are extensive remains of the conduit running in from the north. In favor of this is the fact that the north was the usual side for attack and probable position for Rabshakeh to gather his army. It also suits the conditions. Josephus, in his description of the wall, places a monument of the Fuller at the northeast corner, and the name Fuller survived in connection with the north wall to the 7th century as the pilgrim, whoever that is, mentions a gate. So again, sorry, I have to say the north, this is just saying. All right. Now, okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so then came out to meet him Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was over the royal household, and Shebna, the secretary, and Joah, son of Asaph, the recording historian. I think that's the same Asaph that was the musician for David. And the Rabshakeh said to him, say to Hezekiah, this is where it gets kind of confusing, I'm going to read slower. Say to Hezekiah, thus says the great king, the king of Assyria, what reason for confidence is this in which you trust? Do you suppose that mere words of the lips can pass for warlike counsel? And now in whom do you trust, and on whom do you rebel against me? Behold, your trust is in the staff of this bruised and freed Egypt, which I mentioned earlier, which will pierce the hand of any man who who leans on it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all who trust and rely on him. But if you say to me, we trust and rely on Yah, our El, it is not he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah has taken away, saying to Judah and to Jerusalem, you shall worship before this altar. Now, therefore, I do make a wager with my master, the king of Assyria, that's Sennacherib, him pledges, and I will give you 2,000 horses if you are able on your part to put riders on them. How then can you repulse the attack of a single captain of the least of my servants, my master's servants, when you put your reliance on Egypt for chariots and horsemen? Moreover, it is with Yah that I have now come up against this land to destroy it. Yah said to me, go up against this land and destroy it. Then Kim and Shebna and Joash the Rabshakeh, we pray you, speak to your servants in Aramaic or Assyrian language, for we understand it, and do not speak to us in the language of the Jews, in the hearing of the people on the wall. people are watching. It's interesting because we kind of correlate sometimes Aramaic being part of the Jewish culture, and that's supposedly what Jesus spoke, Aramaic, but yet it's Syrian language. We have Hebrew and Aramaic as some of the most ancient. Well, it's not the most ancient. I'm not saying that's my opinion, but it's interesting that they spoke Aramaic. I don't remember hearing about that in the past. But the Rebshakeh said, "Has my master sent me to speak these words only to your master and to you? Has he not sent me to the men sitting on the wall who are doomed with you to eat their own dung and drink their own urine?" Then the Rebshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the language of the Jews. Whether that's Hebrew or Sanskrit, I don't know. Is it from the Sanskrit? I'm not sure. "Hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus says the king, let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he will not be able to deliver you." So he's really just bully. He's saying, you have no idea what you're doing. We are more stronger. We'll give you horses, but it's not going to help. You're trusting in, the unloyal Egypt. He's mocking the Most High himself. Okay, "Nor let Hezekiah make you trust in and rely on Yahuwah, saying, Yahuwah will surely deliver us. This city will not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, make your peace with me and come out to me, and eat everyone from his own vine and own fig tree, and drink everyone the water of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land, your own land." So like Zion, like Jerusalem, a land of grain and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. "Beware lest Hezekiah persuade and mislead you by saying, Yahuwah will deliver us. Has any of the gods of the nations ever delivered land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath in Syria? Where are the gods of Saravaim, a place from which the Assyrians brought colonists to inhabit evacuated Samaria? And have the gods delivered Samaria, the capital of the 10 northern tribes of Israel, out of my hand? Whom among all the gods of these lands has delivered his land out of my hand, that you should think that the Lord can deliver Jerusalem out of my hand?" But they kept still and answered him not a word, for the king's command was, "Do not answer him." Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, and Sheb, secretary, and Paz, son of Asaph, the recording historian, came to Hezekiah with their clothes rent and told him the words of the Rebshakeh, the Assyrian military official. Oh, that was a mouthful. So he's basically saying, we're better than you. You're not going to win. I think it's poetic Hebrew. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means either. It's interesting to note that they are calling out the small g gods of the other nations. We know both they talk about idols as, and I think it will say that in chapter 37. It talks about the idols that are wood and metals, and they are carvings made with men's hands. But then we also know that the small g gods were the ones that were in charge of nations that were actually the fallen angels or the demonic entities that were ruling, so that their gods were actually the demons they were worshiping. So whenever I read these types of accounts, I think about how those people were referring to entities. They weren't just saying, oh, their gods didn't protect them. They're literally saying those entities didn't protect them. They're not just talking about a statue. He's talking about actual personalities in some cases. And so, okay, so he's pretty much just saying, you can't beat us. Hardy har har. Okay, so King Hezekiah heard it. He rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth into the house of Yah. So this synagogue. He sent Eliakim, who was over the royal household, and Shebna the secretary, and the older priests clothed with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. They said to him, "Thus says Hezekiah, this day is a day of trouble and distress, and of rebuke and disgrace. For children have come to the birth, and there is no strength to bring them. It may be that Yahuwah your El will hear the words of the Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria, his master, has sent to mock, reproach, insult, and defame El, and will rebuke words which Yahuwah your El has heard. Therefore lift up your prayer for the remnant of his people that is left." So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said to them, "You shall say to your master, Thus says Yahuwah, be afraid, because of the words which you have heard, which the servants of the king of Syria have reviled and blasphemed me. Behold," this is interesting too, "I will put a spirit in him, so that he will hear a rumor and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land." So what kind of spirit is the Most High sending? So he has control over certain entities to say, go and do this. So the Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria fighting against Libnah, a fortified city of Judah, for he had heard that the king had departed from Lachish. And Sennacherib heard concerning Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia. Sorry if I'm not saying those right. He had come forth to make war with you, and when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, "Thus shall you speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah. Let not your El, in whom you trust, deceive you by saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. You have heard that the kings of Assyria have plans, destroying them utterly, and you shall be delivered. Have the gods of the nations delivered those whom my predecessors have destroyed." So even though we're looking at the Most High's judgment on some of these places, other places I think that we see that are destroyed were probably from these battles too. And places, I only say that because it's not places we think they are. But we don't know where these battles took place for certain. Okay. My predecessors have destroyed as Gozan, Haran of Mesopotamia. That is where Abraham and his family was. Watch this. Rezeph and the children of Eden who were in Telassar. Wait a second. I better have the right slide here. Get rid of that one. Wait. Come on, internet. Look at the suspense. Look at, I should have had it already. No, it's not going to do it. Where's that picture? Not you, Mr. Cyclops. Where's that picture? Where's that picture? Where's that ding dang picture? Anyways, I'm just going to click this. Hold on. People of Eden. Wait, where was Eden? That's that one that had clearly marked. Where was Eden? It's Eden. Mira. Oh, sorry. See, I told you. Not I told you. I tell whoever's listening. Where did it go? Oh, that's cool. I'm getting sidetracked. It's a lot of mythical land. But he destroyed the children of Eden who were in Telassar. So let's look what Telassar is. Eden is in the North Pole, as they call it now. Okay, so here's Telassar. I said this Encyclopedia Online is a very good website. Okay, this city, which is referred to by Sennacherib's messengers, is stated by them to have been inhabited by the children of Eden, been captured by the Assyrians, kings, forefathers, from whose hands and unable to save it. Okay, the name is generally rendered Hill of Assar, the chief god of the Assyrians, but Hill of Assar, which is Asari, which would be better. Suggestions of this geographical position. Yeah, right. Let's see. But again, if Mount Meru, if the pole is truly how the realm looked with all those connections of continents, then this would make sense. Western Mesopotamia, okay, between the Euphrates and Bilka, okay, that still checks out. The king states that he made their holy sacrifices to his inhabited by the Babylonians, yada, yada, yada. Should this identification be the true one, the Hebrew form of Telesar would seem to be more correct than the Assyrian Til-Assuri, which latter may have been due to the popular idea that the second element was the name of the national god Ashur. So they don't really know. This is all they got, Western Mesopotamia. So let me just circle back for a second. Yeah, see on this castle there now. See. Okay, so here's what we got so far. Isaiah has mentioned possible star forts, so fortified cities, destruction of whole nations, unable to be identified to the present day, with generation upon generation never living there again, which we see. Isaiah has mentioned different nations coming to Mount Zion. Mount Zion was able to be seen by many, many nations, meaning it was a central location. We have Isaiah mentioning a tall, lean of a certain nation not named, bringing homage and paying homage to the Most High at Mount Zion. So all in Isaiah, with our minds open, we've seen, am I still there? Am I still streaming? Because it seems like I've lost a few viewers, but maybe I haven't. So we've seen fortified cities, giants, a central location, judgments. Yeah, we've seen a lot. So you have to know the background to other things. Yeah, thrown out of Eden again. And not thrown out of Eden, though. It said that these Assyrians, Sennacherib's predecessors and generations before him had destroyed their place, the children of Eden's place, which goes back to another video I watched, that there were other people besides Adam and Eve in Eden. They were just told, oh, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. It says I only have 2 viewers, but maybe some people left, which is fine. Anyways, so yeah, Isaiah is chock full of weird stuff. But I was really excited about this Mount Meru or Hypeborea, North Pole type central location, to kind of wrap my mind around where Isaiah was at the time, what the realm looked like, how things have changed till this time, whatever time we're in. It's just really interesting. And I wanted to mention too, in verse 17 of chapter 37, in my Names of Yah Bible, it's living El, or living God, is called Elohim Kai or K or Che, I'm not sure. So that's an interesting word. You don't hear that too often. And honestly, with all these different names, sometimes it throws me off. And mainstream teaching will say, oh, it's just describing different names of the Most High, are just his personality, different personalities, different characteristics. He is the living Most High. The other ones, I guess that would make sense. Their end is death. They are personalities, but they don't have true life. So only the Most High has true life in our Savior is the way, the truth, and the life. So yeah. Okay. It's just really interesting. Everything kind of just adds up. And I already know that Mesopotamia here, right here, Eden was anyways. That's what the mainstream says. They think it was in the Valley of Mesopotamia. Even if you do think that Israel in the Middle East is Israel, they still would say Eden was part of the Mesopotamia, the crescent, Fertile Crescent. But like I said, this would make even more sense with this here. So Fertile Crescent, oh sorry, Eden would be up here. So Mesopotamia. So this is Asia. So it would be, who knows how much it was connected when it was first created. That's what I'm saying, when creation first started. Okay, let's keep going. But that was really cool. I was like, what? But also, oh, wait a second. I want to make sure I didn't miss what I wanted. I can't remember where it was. It also talked about someone calling for a tartan to come in. So someone from that region, which we don't really know much about anyways, but a tartan came in because they had a vast empire too. Maybe it's in here. Maybe I'm getting myself mixed up, but that's in Isaiah 2 somewhere. Okay. Verse 13. Where is the king of Hamath, the king of Arpad of northern Syria, and the king of the city of the Seravaim, the king of Hena, or the king of Iva? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord, the Most High. And Hezekiah prayed to him, O Yahuwah Sabaoth, El of Israel, who in symbol are enthroned above the cherubim of the ark in the temple. You are the Most High, you alone of all the kingdoms of the earth. You have made heaven and earth. Incline your ear, O Yah, and hear, open your eyes, O Yahuwah, and see, and hear all the words of Sennacherib, which he has sent to mock, reproach, insult, and defy the living El. Or as it says, Elohim. I don't want to use Elohim because that means multiple. That's plural. El Kai, El Che, living El. Okay. It is true, Yah, that kings of Assyria have laid waste all the nations and their lands, and have cast the gods of those peoples into the fire. So this is what I was talking about. For they were not but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Yah, our God, our El, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know, understand, and realize that you are the Most High, even you only. And Isaiah, son of Amoz, sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus says Yahuwah, the El of Israel, because you have prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria. This is the word which spoken concerning him. The virgin daughter of Zion has despised you and laughed you to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her head behind you. Whom have you mocked and reviled, and so blasphemed? And against whom have you raised your voice and haughtily lifted your eyes? Against the Holy One of Israel. By your servants you have mocked, reproached, insulted, and defied Yah. You have said, with my many chariots I light of the mountains to the inner recesses of Lebanon. I cut down its tallest cedars. So these were giant trees. Its choicest cypress trees. I came to the remotest height, its most luxuriant and dense forest. I dug wells and drank foreign waters, and with the sole of my feet I have dried up all the rivers, the Nile stream. Says Yah, I purposed to do it long ago. There's that line again, long ago, like before our realm's time. I think that I planned it in ancient times. There you go. Ancient. Now I have brought it to pass that you, king of Assyria, should be my instrument to lay waste fortified cities, making them ruinous heaps. Therefore, their inhabitants had little power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were like the grass of the field and like the green herb, like the grass on the housetops and like a field of grain blasted before it is grown or is in stalk. But I know you're sitting down and you're going and you're coming in and you're raging against me. Because you're raging against me and your arrogance and careless ease have come to my ears, therefore will I put my hook in your nose and my bridle in your lips, and I will turn you back by the way you came. I love that. That's a really good picture, isn't it? Like he's literally going to treat him like an animal, hook in the nose, lead him where he's supposed to go. Yeah. So he's really like an animal. Sennacherib, which I'm wondering if Sennacherib was a giant himself. I'm not sure. Okay, now Hezekiah says, this shall be the sign of these things to you. You shall eat this year what grows of itself. And in the second year, that which springs from the same. And in the third year, sow and reap and plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. And the remnant that has survived of the house of Judah shall downward and bear fruit upward. For Elam will go forth a remnant, and a band survives out of Mount Zion. The zeal of Yahuwah Sabaoth will perform this. So I'm imagining this. Going out from Jerusalem, out. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, or shoot an arrow here, or come up with shield, or cast up a siege mound against it. By the way that he came, by the same way he shall return, and he shall not come into this city, says Yahweh, for the city to save it, for my own sake and for the sake of my servant. And here's the part where there's no recollection. Go figure. We're going to look that up in a second because I didn't see that earlier. Genesis 16:7. Remember that for me. The angel of Yahuwah went forth and slew 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. And when the living arose early in the morning, all these were dead bodies. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. And as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, more gods, Adramelech and Sharezer, his sons, killed him with the sword. They escaped in the land of Armenia or Ararat. And Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his stead. Genesis 16:7. Whew. I think that really happened. That did not really happen. I think that angel did come down and kill 185,000 men because that's the one who could by the power of the Most High, not the king of Judah himself or his armies. They were already outnumbered. And I think Sennacherib was such an ass that the Most High said, forget you, I'll show you who's boss, right? 16:7, right? So they're really just saying, which for angel of the Lord, the Lord is probably Yeshua himself. Right here, Christ of the New Testament. So that's what they're referring to. This is referring to when he came to Hagar, I think. Let's see. Oh, sorry. This is when they were he laughed. No, wait, I was right. Oh, that's right. Hagar. Ooh, I have a good memory. Yeah, the angel of the Lord, probably the Messiah. Okay, so yeah, Sennacherib was a nut. And I guess you have to give him credit. His Genesis 16. That's just mentioning the angel of the Lord. Yeah, bull riding. Yeah, because he was a bull. He talked a lot of bullshit, right? So that's what the Most High was going to treat him as, what he was talking about. So, yeah, not your first rodeo. That's funny. Yeah, they had energy, probably, and probably some of those energy weapons. So the angel probably used that, but maybe even Sennacherib had that kind of power to destroy whole ones pretty swiftly. I wanted to find any images of Sennacherib. Don't they all look the same though? Like, isn't this like looking like King Darius? They all look the same, which makes me question it because it just looks like all the other kings of Babylon. Like, let's look it up. Kings of, like, Assyria was pretty prominent in the Bible, other passages, but say Babylonia and Assyria. Babylonian kings. Oh, because I can't. Yeah, like Nebuchadnezzar, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, they all look the same to me. Must have been a tight knit. Not that. They all are. That guy looks like he could be Sennacherib too. This is how much they've washed out the history, because this is what we see. Like, these are the Bible pictures they showed us in school when I was like 5 years old. All this kind of stuff. This is what they showed. So, I mean, he's pretty tall. I was wondering if Sennacherib was also a giant. Let's see. If we see any, because some of these kings were in their chariots, and you can tell their footmen were small. However, I have to say, like he was telling Messiah and trying to intimidate all these Judeans, they were ruthless. And Nineveh was not. He must have taken over because Nineveh worshipped Dagon. And I don't know when he'd over that. Like I said, those dates don't mean anything to me anyways. So, I don't know. This picture especially is wild to me. Let me actually exit out of stuff. Maybe that's why it's going slow. Get rid of all my Hypeborea stuff. Okay. Oh, nothing to see. Nothing to show here. Let me just find it on for you. Crap, because I did want that picture. Here it is. Supposedly they found it. Right, they found it. Of course it's loading. Oh, I hope the stream's not slowing down because everything's loading. Yes, frequency brought down walls. I was going to show you something. Hold on a second. Yes, it is. All right, can you hear me? I was slowing down for a second. Pause. One moment. Stay right there. Let me go get something. Okay. This is a shofar. And like you said, Skull, yes, frequencies bring down walls. That's what they did at Jericho. So what they did at Jericho was they blew these shofars, and Gideon also and his army. Let me try to see if I can blow it. It's hard. I can't do it as well as some people. But yeah, these frequencies have power. And I've been looking at these shofars have spiritual power too. Well, that was an okay one. I don't know. You can blow it really loud. But yeah, that wasn't even a good sound. It should be more clear and crisp like a trumpet, but I never played a trumpet, so I'm not good at it. But yeah, that's what they used. So yeah, these frequencies. And some people think frequencies also build up, right? Like certain frequencies, they, form different. Sorry, my brain's slowing down. Frequencies make certain designs, like in salt or like in water, snowflakes, and they show that in the cathedral's windows. So here's this picture I originally wanted to save. Okay. So most salt built over a tomb. Okay, Jonah's tomb. Anyways, so supposedly it's in Iraq. I beg to differ. Whatever. Wooden carving is huge. This is the whole thing. It's just part of it. So like I said, this guy looks taller than these people over here, and it's not just because he's closer. Look at these people are this tall, and these people are like head and shoulders above them. So these people fit better in building. I don't even know what that is. I can't even tell what that is. Blurry. Lots of statues. That is incredible. Yes, skull, right. I think of those ancient art depictions too. These are just like the mud flood buildings. So that actually proves our point that the mud flood type building, using that as a general term, were from these times. However long ago it was, the building portrayed times. Old Testament, New Testament, huge courtyard. And how did they build this? Like, forget how they built things like for the World's Fairs. Okay, maybe, but for sure not in Bible times. But they are telling us literally they built this in ancient times. Well, like Yah had said, he knew from ancient times. I mean, I think even the realm that he destroyed before our realm, I think there was another reset. People call it like the pre-Adamic race. If you want to check out stuff about the pre-Adamic race, this is kind of off topic, on topic. Derek Prince has a really good message about the pre-Adamic race and why he thinks it was true. And he also has on his website a whole outline of his sermon. So I actually printed that off years ago. And his theory is that Lucifer had fallen during the pre-Adamic race times. So if you can imagine the giants that were around in Bible times, the Titans were probably around in the pre-Adamic timeline. And so that's why Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 and Genesis 3 are certain parts of creation, not chronologically necessarily. But the world was without form and void, and his spirit moved over the waters, which meant the whole realm was underwater. That's why I think we find things underwater, supposedly Atlantis and all that stuff, that would predate our realm. And then I think the Most High built upon those old foundations, which makes sense because that's why the mud flood theories about things going deeper and deeper below and even deeper than we can even go are there. It's because it's been reset after reset. And, you know, we don't even know, here's something going out way in left field. We don't even know if the end of our time, according to scripture, is the end of everything forever. Maybe we will live in paradise in our new heaven and new earth. And, you know, the Most High can do whatever he wants. Maybe he's going to make another civilization far, far away from us, and we'll never know. Gosh, we could go on and on, talk about different dimensions. You know, because he did that with the pre-Adamic race. Things went on after that happened. So what makes us think that after our race and time of this realm is over and we are living hallelujah in glory, you know, he might say, I'm going to make another kind. You know, I don't know. It's really weird. That kind of blows my mind. Anyways, I've spent over an hour now doing this, but it was really cool finding the children of Eden in there, finding more about Hypeborea and Mount Meru, Jerusalem, North Pole, all that stuff. And then Sennacherib, you know, a lot of those kings were pretty high off themselves. So yeah, a lot of cool discussion too. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Blessings.